Ladies and gentlemen, let me cut straight to the chase. Success isn't for the faint-hearted. It's not for those who sit around waiting for a miracle to drop in their lap. Success is for the bold, the disciplined, and the relentless. If you want to improve your life, and I mean truly improve, it starts with taking a hard look in the mirror and asking, what am I willing to change? The first thing you need to improve is your mindset. If your mind is weak, everything else in your life will crumble. Stop telling yourself lies about why you can't succeed. Excuses are the language of mediocrity. You want to be better? Start thinking better. Develop a mindset that says, I will not fail, because failure is not an option. Next, you've got to take full responsibility for your life. Stop blaming your parents, your boss, your partner, or the economy. The moment you take responsibility, you take back your power. Excuses are just stories you tell yourself to justify staying in the same miserable place. No one is coming to save you. You are the hero of your story, so act like it. Let's talk about time. Time is your most precious resource, and most of you are wasting it. You scroll through social media for hours, binge watch TV, and then wonder why you're not where you want to be. Successful people don't waste time, they dominate it. They know every second counts. Prioritize what matters. If it's not moving you toward your goals, cut it out. And let's not forget about decisions. Too many of you are paralyzed by fear, waiting for the perfect moment or the perfect plan. Let me tell you something, there is no perfect moment. Success doesn't wait for you to feel ready. Stop overthinking, stop hesitating, and just make the damn decision. Every successful person you admire got there because they acted when others stood still. Now, discipline. Oh, this one's a biggie. You think success is about motivation? Forget it. Motivation is fleeting. Discipline is what gets you up at 5 a.m. Discipline is what makes you do the work, even when you don't feel like it. Success isn't about doing what's easy, it's about doing what's necessary. You want results? Stop looking for shortcuts and start building discipline. Here's the bottom line: improving your life isn't about making small tweaks and hoping for the best. It's about massive, focused action. It's about being brutally honest with yourself about what's holding you back and having the guts to fix it. So stop playing small, stop waiting for permission, and start making the changes you know you need to make. The clock is ticking. What are you going to do about it? Ladies and gentlemen, let me start with the truth that many people spend their entire lives running from you, are responsible for everything in your life. The good, the bad, the ugly, it's all on you. You may not want to hear that, but let me tell you something, that truth is the most liberating, empowering idea you will ever embrace. The moment you stop pointing fingers, the moment you stop blaming circumstances, people, or bad luck, is the moment you take back control of your life. Responsibility is not a burden, it's your greatest weapon. I think about it, when you blame others, you're giving them power over you. You're saying, my life is a result of what someone else did to me that's weak. That's victimhood. And let me be very clear, victimhood will never get you where you want to go. Life isn't fair. People will hurt you, betray you, and let you down. Circumstances will challenge you, obstacles will arise, and sometimes you'll get knocked flat on your face. But none of that gives you an excuse to stay down. What matters isn't what happens to you, it's what you do about it. The second you say, I am responsible for my life, is the second you regain your power to change it. Now, I know what some of you are thinking, but what about the things I can't control? What about the economy? What about the job market? What about my upbringing? Sure, there are things you can't control, but your response to them is 100% within your power. You can either let your circumstances define you, or you can rise above them. Successful people aren't successful because life handed them a golden ticket. They're successful because they refuse to be victims of their circumstances. They took control of their attitude, their actions, and their destiny. When you take full responsibility for your life, something incredible happens. You stop waiting. waiting for someone to rescue you, waiting for the perfect opportunity, waiting for life to give you a break. When you take responsibility, you realize that no one is coming to save you, and that's a good thing. Why? Because it means you are the one in control. You are the one who decides how far you go, how hard you work, and how big you dream. Your responsibility forces you to confront your weaknesses, your bad habits, and your excuses. It's uncomfortable, yes, it's painful at times. But it's also transformative. Taking responsibility is the difference between a life of mediocrity and a life of greatness. It's the difference between saying, I can't, and saying, how can I? It's the difference between hoping for success and creating it. I've seen people turn their lives around, not because they were handed a miracle, but because they decided to stop making excuses and start making progress. I've seen people go from broke to wealthy, from broken to whole, from lost to unstoppable, simply because they said, enough is enough. I am in charge of my life. That's the kind of decision that changes everything. So stop blaming your boss, your parents, your partner, or the government. Stop blaming the economy, the weather, or your past. Look in the mirror and say, I am responsible for where I am, and I am responsible for where I'm going. That's not a punishment, it's a gift. Because the moment you take responsibility is the moment you take back your power. And when you have that power, there is no limit to what you can achieve. Time is the one thing we all have in common. Rich or poor, young or old, we each get 24 hours in a day. But let me tell you something, it's not about how much time you have, it's about how you use it. And most of you, you're wasting it. You're letting it slip through your fingers like sand. And then you wonder why success feels out of reach. Let me be clear, time is your most valuable asset. If you don't manage it ruthlessly, you might as well throw your dreams in the trash. Do you know what separates the people who succeed from those who don't? It's not talent. It's not connections. It's how they treat their time. Successful people treat time like gold because they know it's the only resource they can never get back. You can lose money and make it back. You can fail and rebuild, but once a moment is gone, it's gone forever. Every hour you waste is an hour stolen from your potential. Now, let's get honest. How much time are you wasting right now? Be brutal with yourself. How much of your day is spent scrolling through your phone, watching TV, or procrastinating on tasks that actually matter? And don't you dare tell me you don't have enough time. That's the weakest excuse in the book. Everyone has time. What they don't have is the discipline to use it wisely. You need to stop treating your time like it's infinite, because it's not. Start tracking where your hours are going. Write it down, analyze it, and figure out where you're bleeding time. And then, here's the hard part, cut the fat. That means eliminating the distractions, the unnecessary tasks, and the people who waste your time. Yes, I said it, people. If someone is draining your energy or pulling you away from your goals, you need to reevaluate their place in your life. Time is too precious to be spent on things that don't move you forward. Let me give you a reality check. The most successful people in the world don't have more hours in their day than you. They've just mastered the art of prioritization. They know how to focus on what matters and ignore what doesn't. And let me tell you, that's not easy. It takes discipline to say no to the things that don't serve your purpose. It takes courage to let go of comfort and focus on the grind. But if you want to succeed, it's not optional, it's necessary. Here's what ruthless time management looks like. Every minute of your day has a purpose. You plan your day with intention, and you stick to that plan. You set goals and break them down into actionable steps. You use a calendar, a to-do list, whatever works for you, but you stay organized. And when it's time to work, you work. No distractions, no excuses, no wasting time on things that don't matter. And let me be clear, this isn't about working yourself into the ground. It's about working smart. It's about being efficient with your time so that you can achieve more in less time. It's about giving yourself the freedom to rest and recharge because you've handled your priorities with precision. When you manage your time ruthlessly, you don't just work harder, you work better. Time is the great equalizer. It doesn't care who you are or where you come from. It doesn't play favorites. But if you respect it, if you use it wisely, it will reward you with the life you've always dreamed of. So stop wasting time. Start managing it like your future depends on it, because it does. Sharpening your decision-making skills is one of the most critical steps towards success. The truth is, indecision is the silent killer of dreams. While others are sitting around analyzing, debating, and second-guessing, the ones who make it to the top are those who make decisions quickly and confidently. They understand that inaction is more dangerous than a wrong decision. The real winners in life are not the ones who wait for perfect conditions. They are the ones who act, adapt, and move forward no matter what. When you hesitate, you create a gap between opportunity and action. That gap is where doubt, fear, and mediocrity creep in. Let me be clear, hesitation is a luxury you cannot afford. You see, success doesn't come to the person who spends hours trying to predict every possible outcome. Success comes to the person who's willing to make a choice, take a risk, and face the consequences head on. Perfection is a myth, and waiting for it is just an excuse for staying comfortable. You have to embrace the reality that every decision involves risk, but the greater risk is doing nothing at all. I think about the most successful people you admire. They didn't get there by being overly cautious. They got there because they learned to trust their instincts, rely on their preparation, and take bold action. They understand that every decision is a stepping stone. Even the so-called wrong decisions taught them lessons that shaped their future success. Every failure they encountered was just a detour, not a dead end. And here's the beauty of decision making: the more you practice it, the better you get. It's a skill. And like any skill, it improves with experience. But you'll never get that experience if you're too afraid to pull the trigger. What holds most people back from decisive action? Fear. Fear of failure, fear of judgment, fear of making a mistake. But let me tell you something: fear is nothing but a thief. It steals your confidence, your opportunities, and your time. You cannot let fear dictate your life. You have to face it, challenge it, and push through it. And when you do, you'll realize that fear is just an illusion, a shadow that disappears the moment you step into the light of action. Decisiveness also requires clarity. If you don't know what you want, how can you expect to make decisions that move you toward it? You need a vision so sharp and clear that every choice becomes obvious. This doesn't mean you won't face uncertainty. Of course you will. But when you have a clear sense of purpose, you'll know how to weigh your options and choose the path that aligns with your goals. Clarity is your compass, and decisiveness is the vehicle that gets you where you want to go. Let me make this plain: success is not for the hesitant. If you want to achieve anything meaningful, you have to make decisions swiftly and stand by them. Yes, you'll make mistakes along the way. That's part of the process. But mistakes can be corrected, lessons can be learned, and progress can be made. The only thing you can't recover is the time wasted on indecision. So stop doubting yourself, stop overanalyzing, make the call, take the leap. Because every great success story starts with a decision. Ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you something that most people are too afraid to admit: the difference between those who succeed and those who don't is not talent, not luck, not even opportunity, it's discipline. The relentless, unyielding kind of discipline that forces you to do what needs to be done, whether you feel like it or not. Discipline is the glue that binds dreams to reality. Without it, all your aspirations are nothing more than wishes floating in the wind. Discipline is not something you wake up with one day, it's something you forge in the fires of consistency and sacrifice. It's built brick by brick, decision by decision, moment by moment. It's saying no to the things that don't serve your goals, even when they're tempting. It's staying late to finish the work when everyone else is already clocked out. It's getting up early to train, to learn, to prepare when the rest of the world is still sleeping. Discipline is the ability to delay gratification because you know that the pain of discipline today is far better than the regret of inaction tomorrow. But here's the catch: discipline doesn't care about your feelings. It doesn't care if you're tired, if you're uninspired, or if life feels unfair. Discipline is about commitment, not convenience. Too many people live their lives chasing motivation, waiting for the perfect moment to start. Let me save you some time. The perfect moment doesn't exist. Motivation might get you started, but it's discipline that keeps you going when motivation fades, as it inevitably will. You've got to train your mind to embrace discipline like a soldier embraces a mission. This isn't about punishing yourself, it's about empowering yourself. Every time you stick to your commitments, no matter how small, you build trust with yourself. And that trust is the foundation of self-confidence. Discipline. You want to know the difference between the people who succeed and the people who stay stuck? It's decision-making. That's right. The ability to make a decision, any decision, and stick to it with unwavering conviction. Most people hesitate, second guess, or try to avoid decisions altogether. They live their lives in limbo, stuck in the endless cycle of indecision, waiting for the perfect moment. Newsflash, there is no perfect moment. There is only now. And if you don't make a decision, you've already made one not to act, not to move forward, and not to take control of your future. Making decisions isn't easy, but it's necessary. Success demands it. Every step of the way, you'll be faced with decisions big and small. The right decision might not always be the easy one, but it's the one that will push you toward the life you've dreamed of. People who succeed are not the ones who wait for things to happen, they're the ones who make things happen. They don't wait for perfect conditions because they understand that the only way to create the perfect conditions is to take action, imperfect, bold, and decisive action. The key to sharp decision-making lies in eliminating fear. Fear of failure, fear of rejection, fear of making the wrong choice. Fear will paralyze you and leave you stuck, making no progress. But let me tell you, this failure is part of the process. Every decision you make, whether it's the right one or the wrong one, is a learning experience. The so-called wrong decision can teach you more about yourself than the right decision ever could. You learn from your mistakes, adapt, and get better. It's a never-ending process of growth. But if you never make the decision, you never get the lesson. Another thing you need to understand is that indecision is a decision in itself. When you avoid making a choice, you allow life to make it for you. And guess what? Life doesn't care about your comfort. It will continue to move forward, and if you're not making decisions, you're being left behind. You're standing on the sidelines watching others move forward while you waste time debating every little choice. Your life isn't a debate, it's an action. And if you're not taking action, you're losing ground. The most successful people I've seen are decisive. They don't waste time thinking about every possible scenario. They gather information, trust their gut, and then they make a decision. They know that sitting on the fence is just as damaging as making the wrong choice. In fact, not making a decision can be worse than making a bad one, because at least with the bad decision, you can pivot, adjust, and get back on track. But indecision leaves you in limbo, stuck in a cycle of uncertainty and fear. So what does it take to sharpen your decision-making ability? It takes practice, it takes courage, and it takes courage. And it takes an unwavering belief in yourself and your ability to figure things out. You won't always get it right, but you can always course correct. And that's the beauty of it. Your ability to make decisions will determine how far you go in life. Don't fear making the wrong choice, fear making no choice at all. The best decisions come from experience, and experience only comes from the decisions you make. So take action, make the call. Trust yourself and trust the process. Life is happening right now, And you've got everything it takes to make decisions that will lead you to success. Now go make them. So let me leave you with this: discipline is the bridge between where you are now and where you want to be. It's not always glamorous and it's not always easy. But every moment you choose discipline over distractions, every time you show up and do the work, even when you don't feel like it, you're building a future that the world won't be able to ignore. Your success isn't determined by your circumstances, it's determined by your daily habits. The small, consistent actions you take day in and day out will compound into massive results. You want to be extraordinary? Then be relentless in your discipline. Refuse to accept mediocrity. Set your standards high and then meet them every single day. It's not about waiting for the perfect conditions. It's about creating the conditions with your discipline. So ask yourself, are you willing to make the sacrifices today that will set you up for greatness tomorrow? The life you want, the success you dream of, the legacy you aspire to build, it's all waiting for you on the other side of relentless self-discipline. Now, get out there and earn it.